I was born as Jacob Rodney Cohen in Babylon, New York on November 22nd, 1921 to Jewish parents um, Dorothy Teitelbaum and Philip Cohen. And my father wasn't very present during my younger days, so I had to help support my family by selling newspapers and ice cream as well as delivering groceries. I attended Richmond Hill High School and graduated in 1939. And during this time in high school, I began writing for stand up comedians. And at the age of 19, I changed my name to Jack Roy in order to fully pursue my career in comedy. However, I didn't find much success as a young comedian, so I instead became a salesman, which I did not enjoy. I returned to comedy in the early 1960s, performing at hotels at the Catskill Mountains in New York, but I didn't find that much success either. And I realized that I needed to create an onstage persona that would be more relatable to the audience. So I created the persona of Rodney Dangerfield, for whom nothing goes right. I got my first big break in 1967 on The Ed Sullivan Show as a last-minute replacement for another act. And after this, I went on to frequent the Ed Sullivan Show multiple more times and appeared in Las Vegas headlining my own acts, which is considered the capital of comedy. Later on, I would appear on The Tonight Show as well as the Dean Smith Show. And throughout the 70s, I performed all over the country, but I developed a club in New York City so I wouldn't have to travel as far for my shows. And it was a big success, not only for me, but for other up-and-coming comedians that I would mentor, such as Jerry Seinfeld, Roseanne Barr, Tim Allen, and others, name a few. However, my real rise to stardom came in the 80s. In 1980, I got a Grammy Award for my comedy album, No Respect. And in 1983, I followed up that album with another album titled Rappin' Rodney, which featured a musical single of the same name that actually ended up on the Hot 100 rap records of 1983. But the real big thing that happened to me in the 80s was my acting career taking off. I began acting in comedy films, with the first big one being Caddyshack in 1980. I went on to star in Easy Money in 1983, and also Back to School in 1986. I typically portrayed a successful and rather popular older man, which was in contrast to my onstage persona of Rodney Dangerfield being unfortunate and not very successful. However, I maintained my loud and brash personality, which many people liked about my characters. Past the 80s, I continued to appear in films, but I expanded my role to beyond just comedy. And I also continued to appear on television shows such as The Simpsons or House Improvement. And in total, I appeared in about 20 films and 20 different television series. And in 2002, I was honored into the Hollywood Walk of Fame for my lengthy and successful career in comedy. Throughout my career, I became well known for my catchphrase, no respect, as well as my self-deprecating one-liners, such as, my fan club broke up, the guy died, or I once went to a freak show and they let me in for nothing. And one year they asked me to be a poster boy for birth control. Like, those type of one-liners that pack a punch and are pretty vulgar, but they work and are effective. Though I died in 2004, my legacy has been forever cemented as one of the greatest comedians of all time, especially due to my films in the 1980s that were immensely popular for comedy. And thank you.